Cancer, your life is about to split into a before and after this April. From a major career shakeup to a sudden financial windfall, and even a romance that starts as a friendship, these 5 events are non-negotiable. Here is what you absolutely need to know. Chapter 1: The Do-Over at Home. Let me ask you something, Cancer. Have you felt like you have been running in circles since the beginning of the year? Like no matter how hard you push, you somehow end up right back where you started? That is not your imagination. That is Mars retrograde, and in April it takes things very personal. Here is what you need to understand. For the first few months of 2026, Mars, the planet that rules your energy, your drive, and frankly your temper, has been moving through a part of your chart connected to money and self-worth. You may have been obsessing over your bank account, fighting for a raise, or stressing about what you deserve. But on April 1st, everything shifts. Mars, moving backward, crosses the threshold and lands directly in your sign. Yes. Mars retrograde in Cancer. In your first house. The house of you. This is not a time for starting fresh. This is a time for correcting course. Think of it like this. You have been trying to build a house, but you just realized the foundation was cracked. Now you have to go back and fix it before you can move forward. So what does this actually look like in your daily life? For many Cancers, this event manifests as a situation involving home or family. You may find yourself dealing with a parent who suddenly needs more of your attention. You may have a conversation with a roommate or a partner that forces you to redraw the boundaries you thought were already clear. I have seen this transit play out as moving back to a hometown, delaying a renovation because the contractor vanished, or even realizing that the living situation you fought so hard for last year is actually not serving you anymore. Here is the key. Mars retrograde in your sign can also stir up old anger. Old grudges. Things you thought you had buried 5 years ago may bubble up to the surface, demanding to be dealt with. The temptation will be to explode. Do not. The power here is not in fighting. It is in finally standing your ground without apology. This is your emotional reset button. If you have been feeling depleted, invisible, or taken for granted, the first 3 weeks of April give you the chance to reclaim your space, your energy, and your home. If you are ready to navigate this without burning your life down, you are going to want to stick around for the rest of this video. Because if you think this is intense, wait until you see what is coming for your career later this month. Before we dive into the next chapter, the one that could change your entire professional trajectory, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. And if this message feels like it was meant for you, go ahead and give this video a like. It helps more Cancers find this information when they need it most. Now let us talk about what happens when reality comes knocking on your career door. Chapter 2: The Career Reality Check. If you thought the home front was intense, Cancer, I need you to take a deep breath. Because what is coming for your professional life in April is not just a minor inconvenience. It is a life-defining moment. This is the transit that astrologers have been talking about for years, and it is finally landing on your doorstep. I am talking about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. And for you, this is happening in your 10th house, the highest point of your chart. The house of career, reputation, authority figures, and your legacy. Let me break this down in a way that makes sense, because these 2 planets could not be more different. Saturn is the taskmaster. He is structure, discipline, hard work, and reality. He is the one who says, "Show me the receipts." Neptune, on the other hand, is the dreamer. He is illusion, inspiration, fog, and sometimes outright deception. When these 2 meet, something has to give. You cannot build a solid structure on a foggy foundation. And you cannot keep dreaming if reality keeps knocking down your walls. So what does this mean for you, Cancer? Throughout April, a situation in your career that has been confusing, unclear, or perhaps too good to be true is going to reveal its true nature. I have seen this transit play out in 2 very different ways, and which one you experience depends entirely on what you have been building over the last few years. For some Cancers, this is the painful but necessary collapse. Maybe you have been in a job that promised growth but delivered stagnation. Maybe you have been working for a boss who talked a big game but never followed through. Maybe you have been chasing a title or a salary that looked glamorous on the outside but left you empty on the inside. Under the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, the illusion dissolves. You may face a layoff. A promotion you were promised may evaporate. A company culture you romanticized may reveal itself as toxic. And as painful as that sounds, I need you to hear this. This is not a punishment. This is the universe clearing the path so you can finally build something real. For other Cancers, this is the moment of solidification. If you have been quietly doing the work, the unglamorous, consistent, disciplined work, on a dream that actually has legs, this conjunction is your breakthrough. The artist who finally gets the gallery show. The healer who opens their own practice. The entrepreneur whose business stops being a side hustle and becomes a legitimate empire. Saturn takes Neptune's inspiration and gives it form. Your dream becomes your reality. Either way, the outcome is the same. You will know by the end of April exactly where you stand. No more guessing. No more waiting. No more wondering if you are on the right path. This transit is asking you to look at your career and ask yourself one brutally honest question. Am I building something real or am I chasing a fantasy? I know that is a heavy question. But here is the gift in all of this. The 10th house is also the house of the legacy you leave behind. Whatever happens this month, whether it is a goodbye or a long-awaited hello, it is setting the stage for the next 15 years of your professional life. You do not want to get this wrong. So if you are watching this and you feel that knot in your stomach because you know something at work is about to shift, do not look away. Lean in. The clarity you have been begging the universe for is finally on its way. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that might actually balance out all this career intensity. A sudden financial windfall that comes from the most unexpected place. You are not going to want to miss this. Now let us get into the money shift that changes everything. Chapter 3, the sudden money shift. I know the last chapter was heavy. We talked about careers crumbling or crystallizing, about reality crashing into your professional life. And I can feel some of you watching this right now, your shoulders up by your ears, thinking, great. So April is just going to be a disaster. No, absolutely not. Because the universe does not just take things away from Cancer without giving something back. And what is coming for you in the second week of April is proof of that. I am talking about a sudden, fated, almost cinematic financial event. One that comes from a place you are probably not expecting. This is the solar eclipse in Aries activating your 8th house. Now, I know the 8th house sounds intimidating. It is the house of death, taxes, and other people's money. But do not let the word death scare you. In astrology, death simply means transformation. And when it comes to your finances, transformation is exactly what is about to happen. Let me explain what makes this different from a regular paycheck or a bonus. Most of the money you deal with comes from your 2nd house. That is your salary, your side hustle, the money you earn with your own 2 hands. But the 8th house is different. This is the house of money that comes from outside sources. Think inheritance, life insurance, settlements, divorce proceeds, your spouse's income, investments, or even a surprise gift that arrives out of nowhere. And because this is a solar eclipse, not just a regular new moon, the energy is amplified. Eclipses are the universe's way of accelerating timelines. What was supposed to happen in 5 years happens in 5 days. What was meant to be a slow build becomes a sudden arrival. So what does this actually look like for you, Cancer? For some of you, this manifests as a genuine windfall. An inheritance you thought was tied up in probate suddenly clears. A legal settlement you had given up on finally lands in your bank account. A partner, romantic or business, brings in a significant sum of money that benefits you both. I have seen this transit play out as a spouse getting a massive promotion, a parent gifting a down payment on a home, or even an investment you made years ago finally paying off in a way that surprises you. For other Cancers, this eclipse brings a different kind of financial transformation. It may come in the form of debt consolidation, a loan approval you did not expect, or finally settling a financial obligation that has been hanging over your head. And in some cases, this transit asks you to merge your resources with someone else permanently, buying a home with a partner, combining finances in marriage, or entering into a business partnership that changes your financial trajectory. Here is what I need you to understand. This event is fated. That means it is not something you can force, but it is also not something you can avoid. When an eclipse hits your 8th house, the universe rearranges your financial foundation so that you are better positioned for the next chapter of your life. If you have been feeling stuck financially, like you are treading water but never getting ahead, this eclipse is your lifeline. It is the shift that finally moves you from scarcity to stability. But you have to be open to receiving. The 8th house requires trust. It requires letting go of the need to control every dollar and allowing outside help to come in. So yes, April is bringing a career shakeup. But it is also bringing a financial turning point that has the power to change everything. Now, I know some of you are wondering, what about love? What about connection? You have been through so much already this month. Does the universe have anything gentle in store for you? The answer is yes. And in the next chapter, we are going to talk about the friendship that turns romantic, the partnership that finally feels stable, the social circle that becomes your safety net. Chapter 4. The friendship that turns romantic. The first 3 chapters of April have felt like a pressure cooker. I want you to take a deep breath, because we are about to enter the part of the month where the universe finally gives you a break. And not just a small break. A genuinely beautiful, stable, long-term blessing that arrives through the people around you. This is what happens when Venus and Mercury move through Taurus, lighting up your 11th house. And for Cancer, the 11th house is pure magic. It is the house of friendships, community, hopes, and dreams. It is the part of your chart that reminds you that you do not have to do life alone. Now, let me tell you why this matters so much, especially after everything else happening in April. You have just been through a career reality check. You have experienced a sudden financial shift. Your home life has asked you to reset boundaries. And through all of that, you may have felt isolated, like you were carrying the weight of the world on your shell. But in the second half of April, the universe sends people into your life, or brings certain people closer, for a very specific reason. For many Cancers, this manifests as a romance that begins in friendship. This is not the chaotic whirlwind romance that leaves you confused. This is the slow burn. The person you have been collaborating with on a project, the friend who has always been there, the familiar face in your group chat. Suddenly, the energy shifts. Venus in Taurus does not rush. It builds. It shows love through consistency, through showing up, through the quiet of knowing someone has your back. If you are single, Cancer, pay attention to your social circle in the second half of April. The person who is meant for you may have been standing in plain sight this whole time. For Cancers who are already in a relationship, this transit brings a different kind of gift. You and your partner will move out of survival mode and back into friendship mode. After weeks of stress over money and career, you will remember why you actually like each other. Date nights return. Laughter returns. The partnership starts to feel like a safe harbor again rather than another source of pressure. But the 11th house is not just about romance. It is also about collaboration. Some of you are going to experience this transit as the arrival of the right business partner, the perfect creative collaborator, or the mentor who finally believes in you. You know that dream you have been holding close to your chest? The one you have been too afraid to share because you thought it was unrealistic? In the second half of April, you will meet someone who not only understands that dream but wants to help you build it. Taurus energy is grounded. It is practical. This is not a fleeting inspiration that disappears by May. This is a long-term alliance that has the potential to grow into something substantial. Whether it is romantic or professional, the connection you form during this window is built to last. And here is the best part. After the intensity of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction and the eclipse, this energy feels like a warm blanket. It is gentle. It is patient. It reminds you that you are loved, seen, and supported by the people who matter. So if you have been feeling like April has been nothing but chaos, I want you to hold on. The second half of the month is your reward for showing up through the hard parts. Open your heart to your friends. Say yes to the invitation. Reach out to that person you have been meaning to connect with. The universe is trying to bring someone wonderful into your orbit, but you have to be available to receive them. Now we have one more chapter to go. And if you thought the friendship turned romance was the end of the drama, I need to warn you. The last week of April brings a final showdown. A truth bomb. A conversation that has been waiting to happen for a very long time. And it involves someone from your past who is about to resurface. If you want to know how to handle that confrontation without losing your peace, you are going to want to stay until the very end. Chapter 5. The final straw with a sibling, neighbor, or ex. We have made it to the final chapter, Cancer. And I am not going to sugarcoat this one because you have come too far in this video for me to soften the truth. The last week of April brings a confrontation, a reckoning, a moment you have been unconsciously preparing for since the beginning of the month. This is Mercury stationing direct and squaring Pluto in your third house. I know that sounds technical, but here is what it means in real life. A communication war that has been brewing for weeks finally comes to a head. And the person on the other side of it is someone close to you. A sibling, a neighbor, cousin, or in some cases, an ex who just will not stay in the past. Let me paint the picture for you. All month, you have been resetting your home, rebuilding your career, receiving financial blessings, and opening your heart to new connections. But while all of that has been happening, there has been this one person in your peripheral vision. Someone who talks too much. Someone who pushes your buttons. Someone who seems to have an opinion about everything you do. And you have been biting your tongue. In the last week of April you stop biting. Mercury ending its retrograde motion brings clarity. The confusion, the miscommunications, the passive-aggressive comments that have been flying under the radar, they all come into sharp focus. And Pluto, the planet of power and truth, demands that you stop avoiding what is really going on. For some Cancers, this is a sibling rivalry that finally explodes. Maybe it is an old inheritance issue. Maybe it is a pattern of disrespect that has gone on since childhood. Whatever it is, the conversation happens and it is not polite. But here is the thing about Pluto. It does not destroy for the sake of destruction. It destroys what is no longer true so that something real can take its place. For other Cancers, this manifests as a neighbor dispute or a conflict within your immediate community. A noise complaint. A property line issue. A situation where someone has been taking advantage of your kindness and you finally say, no more. And for some of you, this is the ex who resurfaces with an apology, a demand, or a final attempt to pull you back into old patterns. Pluto square Mercury does not allow games. You will see their true intentions clearly for the first time. And you will have the power to walk away for good. Here is what I need you to remember. This confrontation is not a setback. It is a liberation. You have spent this entire month clearing space in your home, your career, your finances, and your heart. The last piece of the puzzle is clearing toxic dynamics from your daily life. Once this conversation happens, once you say what you have been holding in, you will feel lighter than you have felt in years. You do not need to start a fight, but you also do not need to shrink anymore. Speak your truth, set the boundary, and then walk forward into the life you have been building all month. If you made it all the way through April with me, you know this month is going to change everything for you, Cancer. Your home, your career, your finances, your relationships, and finally, your voice. Do not navigate this alone. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss the guidance you need. Hit that like button if this video found you at the right time. And comment below, which chapter hit you the hardest. I will see you in the next one.